So this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about barcode technology. And at its core, it's very simple. Whenever you scan something from a barcode format, it will reference a variety of different alphanumeric characters which will populate inside of a cell. Now, when you're using it for looking things up, you'll scan the barcode and it will read out what those alphanumeric characters are and then try to find a match. And this is the typical way in which barcode scanning is used. It finds a match in a database, and you use it the exact same way with Katana. Now, with Katana, we're supporting the 4 types of barcodes that I previously mentioned, and in the numbers of alphanumeric characters that are represented, there is a certain character limitation to each of those types of barcodes on Katana's system. Now, why this is important is because when you're choosing what type of barcode technology, there is a type of barcode technology that enables you to pack a lot of information into a single scannable item, and all of that information would need to be referenced and matching on the Katana platform. But if it exceeds the character limits, then the technology would not be compatible for you with Katana. So this is important to really take a note of as you choose what barcode scanning technology you need in order to implement and use with your Katana system. So for starters, the 2 internal barcodes that we have, internal code plus batch barcodes, these support up to 40 characters of information. So that is the one found here. You can have a 40 character long alphanumeric reference in a barcode. And with the batch barcodes, which are found on the batches list from the stock screen, the same of 40 alphanumeric digits would apply here as well. Now, the other 2 types, which include registered barcodes and supplier barcodes, they're a little bit different and they have a different character limit. Registered barcodes, as I had mentioned previously, there is a global standard barcode type. One of them is called GS128, which supports up to 48 characters. It's the most commonly used one with respect to items that you might find on Amazon Marketplace, for example. But there's also a large number of different types of format standards which may occur across different technology platforms and or industries. So this particular field in Katana supports up to 120 characters. So whether you're using just the GS128 format with a maximum of 48 characters, you could also use a variety of other formats up to 120 characters. Now with supplier item code, you can have hundreds of digits within this field. The reason why this field is more flexible is because number one, it's not something you have to come up with by yourself. It's something that you could just scan in and then add directly to your Katana database. And since you might have multiple suppliers which provide a single item that you reference to a single, like SKU, for example, you would need to be able to recognize it. So we need to have a lot more flexibility with the supplier item codes with respect to the other ones that don't require as much flexibility. So supplier item codes can have hundreds of characters that can be referenced whenever you're pulling in purchase orders, for example. Okay, so let's go a little bit further into it and talk about the basic barcode technologies that Katana supports and just general barcode technology in general. So there are line barcodes and QR codes. They're a little bit different. This one is the traditional one that you see on all the items you buy in the grocery store, and they can only be read horizontally. So as you know, a laser scanner makes a straight line. It would scan across the line of all the barcodes perpendicular to each other, and then it would read it that way. And down here it says it can only hold a limited amount of data. Universal product codes are typically 12 digits, which is the number of characters. Now, actually, you can have more information than just that. Katana supports up to 40. Other systems might support significantly more, but in general, the amount of data that you can supply in the characters would be limited. Now, QR codes, on the other hand, are a lot more comprehensive. These are what they call 2-dimensional barcodes. Now, 1-dimensional means that you can only read it from one direction, but 2-dimensional means that it could be read horizontally and vertically. So this means that you can provide a lot more of the type of information you might need with respect to that. And as a result, you can get up to 4,000 plus characters of information. Now, Why is that important? I'm going to mention it again. Maximum amount of characters available in Katana are 40 for internal items, 120 for global register barcodes, and then supplier item codes can be more, but once you start getting too many characters, it becomes too comprehensive. But QR codes, they in general are a much better technology to provide more information into a smaller scannable item. Now, just for more clarity on why it's called 1D versus 2D, QR codes contain data vertically and horizontally, whereas barcodes only contain data horizontally. So one direction, two direction, 1D, 2D kind of gives you an idea. Now, when it comes to the differences of formats between 1D and 2D barcodes, there is a wide variety of different formats that can be used. And just in the case with 1D barcodes, the size of the barcode might also indicate, how much information can be referenced alphanumerically. Again, the most common one is a code 128. This one supports a certain amount of characters, and that one is found here as one of the examples. The 2D barcodes include a variety of formats which are called QR codes, data matrix, PDF style, as well as Aztec style. These are used in a variety of industries as well, and can contain additional information that otherwise can't be referenced from one single barcode that you would have here on the left. So on the right, you can add additional information in one single barcode, like a reference to a batch number, plus a reference to an item description, plus a reference to a variety of other things that are related to the record to which they point to. So that's what makes them a bit more useful and versatile in respect to supply chain management and also in manufacturing too, in some cases. Now, when we talk about scanners, there's a lot of scanner technology out there. These are the two main ones. Laser scanners, which are ideal for 1D barcoding. Again, it's this most common one with a laser light. Also, there are linear imagers, which kind of use more of an imaging technology that captures more information and are also good for any barcodes that are having issues, damaged, for example. But the best kind is the 2D area imager, which is able to read both regular 1D barcodes as well as 2D types of codes like QR codes. And the reason why it's so important and also better is because it also provides the flexibility to use that both in smart devices like your phone or your tablet. Now, with Katana's shop floor application, you use the camera to make scans. And so scanning barcodes, scanning QR codes are both possibilities with the actual smart devices. So this is why 2D area imagers are also a good option for you, because it gives you the flexibility of both. I would recommend it, especially if you are scanning QR codes for incoming material, for example. This can be an easy way to get two birds with one stone. Now, Katana also supports RFID. RFID, for those who don't know it, stands for radio frequency identification. These are a type of sticker tag that you put on an item, and then if you have a reader, it sends a radio frequency wave that can scan anything that has this RFID tag on it. Once the radio wave is coming into contact with the tag, it activates the tag, and then it sends data back to the reader. Now, why are these so useful? It's because if you are needing to scan items for whatever reason, you can scan the items without them being in the line of sight. Not only that, you can also scan multiple items simultaneously onto the reader and then upload them into a computer. One of the things to be careful about and to think about when it comes to RFID tags using Katana is that Katana works really great with single entry items. So if you're using comprehensive reader that is pulling in lots of data simultaneously, it won't be compatible with Katana. 95% of our customers are using 1 and 2D barcodes, not necessarily RFID, but in case you are wondering, then it's something that you could technically use, but it has a severe amount of limitations. So moving on, if you are using something like a smart scanner, this will not be compatible with Katana. So smart scanners have their own software that has to be programmed to work with whatever inventory management system they're using. and they're not very compatible with Katana with respect to that. But whenever you're using scanning technology like these, they can be USB connected to a computer, for example, or they could also be Bluetooth connected. So either case works. So that's kind of a nice little overview of scanning scanners that are supported and what kind of technology those scanners need to work with in order to be compatible with Katana. The next thing I want to briefly talk about is printing labels. So ideally, once you get all of your types of barcodes into your Katana account, then you want to print them out as barcodes and label all of your items in your inventory, or label items as they arrive into inventory from incoming purchase orders, or creating badges from incoming manufacturing orders, whatever it might be. You need to print out those labels in order to put them on your goods. So one of the easiest things that you can do with Katana is print labels in whatever format works best for your needs. You'll have to choose what formats you're using. If you're going to use just a home inkjet or laser printer, you can actually use some of these items that, for example, Avery supplies. So if you go to your office shop and you have a printed paper and you want to export a list of your QR or barcodes into another template, you can put that template into your printer program and then extract it and then print those barcodes out on a regular printer. So this is something that's supported. Now, on the other hand, there's a quicker way to print, especially if you're using like an in-shop printer. One of those would be something like this. This here is a standard roll type printer. You can actually see that it runs on a roll, and it's designed to print things out very quickly, so that way whenever you need to label something immediately, let's say you receive a purchase order, scan it, and then once you're done receiving, you can print out the barcodes that have to be added to those items that are going to inventory. So you just basically scan it, and then you generate the print icon from the browser using Katana templates, which we have a PDF generator that actually makes it possible to use something like this. Print them out, and once they're available, then you could just simply add them, print them up in real time right off the receiving process. And then slap those stickers on, put it into inventory, and you're good to go. So this is one example of which we're going to cover when we get into the printing parts. So I hope that you found that this video is useful. Kind of should give you a flavor of what types of barcodes are supported, what types of scanners are supported, and also maybe best approaches when it comes to printing.